So let's apply these 4 keys to talk about what are some ways you can expand your expertise. Let's start with define, because that's where it all begins. Search your heart. Think about what you love to do that you're really good at doing, and ask the Lord to show you what are your areas of expertise or your zones of genius. Where do your gifts and your talents intersect with your joy? The second key is direct. So it's asking the Lord, okay, now you've defined these talents and these gifts and this zone of genius, and maybe even brought to light some things that I forgot that I was really good at doing. What ways would you have me expand that expertise, Lord? How would you lead me forward? So I've got 4 ways that you can do this. And we're going to have experts on each of these ways speaking to us this month. You know what all of this takes? Discipline and competence. Discipline is the third key of our 4 keys, as you know. But discipline here is about doing your homework, really understanding what would be most valuable for your audience, but also for your business and your income for you to expand your expertise. There is no shame in this game, friends. You can charge for expanding your expertise, but you want to understand the right ways to do it. So you need to do your homework. You need to do your research. And if you don't know how all of that gets pulled together or even where to begin, guess what? Discipline means it's time to engage somebody who can help you do that. But part of discipline is also establishing your foundation of confidence. Confidence in this is so important because you have to believe that the gifts and talents that God has given you were made for you, and that the world needs what you have because He has put you on this pathway. And confidence is so important in expanding your expertise that next week's episode is going to have my friend Karen Laus, who is on a mission to help women be self-confident. Our last key is develop. Use these outlets of expanding your expertise to develop your confidence, to develop the messages that you've been given to share, to hone your audience and your offers, and to develop your own ability to listen and obey what God is giving you to do. You know, it has taken me 5 years to develop ongoing consistency with a weekly podcast. God has developed me in so many ways, from speaking at every summit that I could find to now speaking on very specific stages to very specific audiences. Let me give you a few scriptures before we close this up. In Galatians 6:9, this will be really familiar to you, I'm positive. We know that it tells us that we are not to grow weary while doing good. For in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. You know, this is a promise from the Lord. And so being consistent and applying these 4 keys before you step out into ways of expanding your expertise is so important. But don't forget to lean into Him, because it's only in leaning into Him that we can actually get these things done. The second scripture that I want to give you is 1 Corinthians 15:58, which is a reminder for all of us. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. And He has promised to give us success and reward us for faithful service. Don't forget that, friend, because the world needs what you have, and you can expand your expertise in ways that elevate this message to more people without diluting your day-to-day offerings for your audience. Friend, I want you to remember that God made you ambitious, but He did not make you to work the world's way, and you don't have to do business as usual anymore. For some people, it's starting a podcast. For you, it might be a podcast guest spot. For some people, it's speaking on a stage. For you, it might be creating a course. The world doesn't dictate that. Only God can tell you the right way to go. But I want to expand your thinking by expanding your expertise in this series.